Hello everyone, GWENT here, and in this video I will show you my alumni and chapter of Wizards Northern Realm deck with a quick guide on how to play it, on which cards are here for what reason, and on a few words on the matchups probably. But before we begin, I just want to make something clear. I'm not a content creator. That's the first time I ever record a video and edit it. I'm bad at this stuff. I'm not a YouTuber, but I'm pretty good at GWENT, so maybe you will still enjoy it and like learn something out of it, and maybe you will have fun with the deck. But yeah, please bear with me. I'm not used to doing this stuff, so yeah, so yeah, it won't be like super optimal quality, but I think the deck is good though. Anyways, let's get right into it. So let's start from the bottom. The meditating mages are not here for our win condition, so it has nothing to do with the deck that swarms them and plays like 500 of them. That's not what they're here for at all. They're here for three reasons actually. First, they're just here to like ethically gain resilience and help us transition from round 2 to round 3, because otherwise we can be vulnerable to bleeding. Well, not really actually, we're not that vulnerable to bleeding, but we're vulnerable in round 1, and if we can have some carryover resilience to round 2, it makes us much more difficult for our opponents to bully us in round 1 and then dry pass in round 2, if we're going first, I mean. Second, more important purpose is their bait. There's no other way to say it. They're removal bait. Like, they're not our win condition, but people really fear this guy. Like, they really don't like him. They really want him removed ASAP. And so yeah, they usually commit lots of removal on that guy. And the third purpose is to grow our patience. Our practice makes perfect through patience, which I'll discuss soon. Barnard student, Aretusa student are pretty straightforward. Like, we play them in round 1, almost never triggers their ability, and just try to get as much patience as we can. Depending on the matchup, we should prioritize either the Barnard student or the Aretusa student. Usually it's much better to have one grow big and the other not grow at all than have both grow a bit. For example, Aretusa student should be prioritized in control matchups, so against Skellige, against Nilfgaard, while Barnard student should be prioritized against proactive decks such as Northern Realms, Scoia'tael, and stuff like that. I'll discuss their interaction with alumni when we get to them. The Pillar honestly needs to be removed. The most likely replacement I have for him is the Siege support, because in this deck we do not have enough Zeal. Like, our ability has 3 charges, and we usually will have much more units with Order than 3 who need Zeal. So I think Siege support is pretty good instead of the Pillar. Pelor is good in the Nilfgaard matchup, and I put him in the deck back at the beginning of the season when everyone was playing Defender. Like, you had Monsters, you had Northern Realms, everyone was playing a Defender. But right now the meta has shifted towards Control, so I don't think the Pelor is good at all. So let's just put the Siege support in. Even though in the games you will see later, it's still the Pelor version. Megascope is here to copy a big alumni. Since their ability is an order and not a deploy, that means we get the full value out of them. Like, we don't get the Zeal, but other than that we get the full value of their ability. And since our win condition is to grow them big, playing an addition copy through Megascope is pretty good. Also, it helps with Avalak. It gives him an additional target. Practice makes perfect is the silent carry of the deck. It's one of the most underestimated cards in the game right now. It's bad in any other deck, but in this one it's amazing. It's really amazing. It allows to gain lots of points in later rounds. So, as you will see in the games I will showcase, the boost that you get from this card can easily reach 8 it can reach 7, it can reach 9 even sometimes. So basically what you do is you shuffle a 4 power unit back in the deck, and you get an 11 or 10 power unit back that still has its order. This card can, by the way, play the card it just shuffled, so we usually use it on the alumni to get as many copies as possible. So the fewer mages we have in our deck remaining, the higher chance to replay an alumni. And honestly, in endgame scenarios, as you'll probably see in the videos, that happens a lot. So let's see, we have an alumni with like a 4 power or 5 power order, either melee or ranged. Let's assume it doesn't have zeal, but anyways, so let's say we use this on a 4 power unit, we shuffle it back, we get a 10 power unit back, and this 10 power unit plays an ability for 4 or 5. So that's like a 10 power play from a 4 provision card, and it's a very conservative description that I'm giving. I've had this card play for 15. Like if you use it on a damaged unit, if you have zeal, if you have a bigger alumni than what I described, this card has a huge ceiling for a 4 provision card. The downside is that it's not good in the first round, playable but not good. It's not great in mid-game scenarios, it's really good in late-game scenarios. Like, it's amazing. When I added this card in the deck, that's what really allowed me to climb like crazy and reach 2.5k with this deck. Actually, slightly above 2.5k. Winch is here for Natalis, because I do not want to play too many warfare cards in this deck. I don't like them at all. They're not helping us do what we're trying to do, but having just amphibious assault is not enough. And also it's really good with Rafard's Vengeance, because when you play it, it's got cooldown 5, next turn it's on cooldown 4, so you only need it to survive for 1 turn to have the ability trigger again. Trust me, just 2 warfare cards is absolutely good enough for Natalis, as long as you're careful in your mulligans. Dream Viandra and Casting Contest. I'm discussing those cards together because usually you don't want to see, if you're an experienced deck builder, you don't want to see 2 bronzes, 1 copy of the same provision, 1 copy each, same provision, same rarity. You usually want to play 2 of the same best card rather than 1 of each. So the question is, do we know which one is the best card? And the answer is yes, we do know. Dream Viandra is better than Casting Contest in this deck, but problems, if we run double Dream Viandra, problems arise with Practice Makes Perfect, where we can shuffle her back or we can get her when we don't want her. That's a card that you really need to play with lots of accuracy with your artifact, with the chapter of mages, of wizards. So we do not want to have 2 of her. And also, again, for the sake of Practice Makes Perfect and for the sake of getting as many alumni as possible back from it, we do not want to have too many mages in the deck. So I think 1 Dream Viandra is completely enough. Casting Contest, pretty straightforward. It basically has 3 uses. Either it refreshes the alumni's hero power, ability. Either it allows to get another resilience from round 2 to round 3, but that's a fringe scenario. Or also we can use it in round 1 to gain some tempo, because as I've said, we do not want to use those guys' abilities in round 1. But if we grew them big enough and we really need the tempo from the ability, we play them, then we cast Casting Contest on them, and they keep growing. So yeah, those are the 3 uses. It can also be used in fringe scenarios to heal units like Leticia, for example. If you see that the opponent is trying to remove her by 2-timing her, like by playing 2 spells, 2 removals on her, you can like heal her with Casting Contests or with Winch sometimes. Alumni, so there are our win condition. So these cards, this unit gets its damage or boost by the students. So deploy if both values are equal to or higher than 4, gain zeal. Let me be completely honest, this won't happen a lot. Like, do not expect to get consistently zeal, and it's fine. Do not think that you absolutely need the zeal for them to be good. It's not the case at all. Usually, just having one big melee order or one big ranged order is good enough, depending on the matchup. Sorry. Also, interesting to know that those values cannot be manipulated by the opponent, meaning that whatever they do to our student, like if the highest value attained was 5, they can remove it, they can banish it, they can remove it from the graveyard, they can even resurrect it like Nilfgaard does. This value will not go down. Like, there's nothing they can do about it. Once this value reaches a certain point, it will always it will never go lower, like both values, I mean, of course. So that's good. Like, not much counterplay as long as you can grow at least one student to decent height. By itself, it might not be amazing, but when you can play lots of them, which this deck can do, as a matter of fact, this deck can play them 7 or 8 times. 2 times through practice makes perfect. 1 time through the megascope, that's 3. 2 by themselves, that's 5. 1 more time through practice make perfect, so Gerhardt, that's 6. 2 times through the spawn of the Chapter of Wizards, that's 8. And 9 times if you get one from the Chapter of Wizards. And 2 times I said because we refresh the ability with Doom Vandra. Obviously, I'm not saying you're gonna use them 9 times in every deck, in every game, but I'm just saying it's very possible, and 5 or 6 times is completely realistic, like you will see in the showcased games. Oops, sorry about that. Leticia, she will never stick. Like, she mostly eats removal, but if she does stick, she's amazing. She wins the game. Like, if you can get her value to 4 or even 3 and hit 2 or even 1 student, as a matter of fact, you've pretty much won the game. And she's not as easy to remove as you might think. Again, you will see it in the showcase game, but if you play her through Amphibious Assault, she's at 8. If you go first and use the Crystal Skull on her, she's at 10. So there's not much ways to remove her. Most often, people will have to commit a Heat Wave on her, which is really good for us. Like, that's some major removal gone. Or Skellige will commit some Reckless Flurry. The most optimal way to remove her is through row movement, but as of now, almost no decks have row movement except for sometimes ST. And even then, it means that they used the bomb that they got through the Order Elf. I forgot her name. Anyways, very good card. Only 7 provisions. Eats removal like crazy. Most remove card. And if she doesn't get removed, she wins the game. Also very important in the previously mentioned Scoia'tael matchup, where they usually cannot remove her, or at least not through conventional means. Like Nature's Rebuke does 5 damage, and the devotion version does not run lock nor heat wave most of the time, so she's really good against Scoia'tael. Natalis is here for one and only purpose, to draw as Amphibious Assault. Yes, this card is that good. Yes, it is that important to run her, to draw it. He also can play the Winch on Rafard's Vengeance. Some of you might think that having only 2 warfare cards is not enough, but trust me, it is. I've almost never had him break, like, through the tens and hundreds of games I've played. Maybe not hundreds, but through all the games I've played, I only remember breaking him like once, and it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. If you really don't like only running 2 warfare cards, you can remove Casting Contest in favor of Boiling Oil, but I really don't like it. We do not have the time to just play a 5-point removal in this deck. That's not what we're doing. We're a proactive deck, not a reactive one. Rafard's Vengeance, my favorite card in the deck. My favorite card from the new expansion, actually. If you've seen this card in the meta deck, in the Siege deck, which is meta right now, you probably underestimate it, because in this deck it doesn't do anything amazing. It just like plays another card. But in this deck, let me tell you, this card is insane. Except for Saltkirk and Anseis, all our cards trigger its ability, its crew ability. So the tempo we get from playing this is huge, especially since it's usually pretty tough to remove. And if opponents commit removal on this, it's good for us because it's not our win condition and it just helps us with tempo. So that removal going on Rafar's Vengeance rather than on one of our win conditions is really good. We can also double trigger its ability in one turn if we go Natalis into Amphibious Assault, or if we go into Avalak into one of our artifacts. So really an amazing card, like insanely good card in this deck. Seltkirk of Gollet, you all know how he works. I'm not gonna explain it again. Just very strong removal. One of the main reasons to run Inspired Zeal. Very strong removal, very good tempo, very good value for provisions. Just overall must include card in any Inspired Zeal deck. Mashi Truffle here is very good in this deck. It's insanely good. It's a very good card in almost every deck, to be honest. Like right now we see it being meta in many decks. We see it being run in Skellige. I've seen it in some versions of Nilfgaard even. But anyways, yeah, really strong card. It plays a third Meditating Mage when needed, but most importantly, maybe not most importantly, but the Golden Frost is also very good in our deck. It helps us stabilize against some control decks, like gives them a harder time to remove our units. It can also trigger Anseis's Inspired without having to use our ability on him, which is very nice. Obviously, it helps Avalak as well, because having 3 artifacts for Avalak is pretty good. And yeah, speaking of Avalak, he's obviously here mostly to draw the Chapter of Wizards. Like it's our second win, not second, it's like our main win condition. We absolutely need to draw Chapter of Wizards to have any hope of winning the game. And that's what Avalak does for us. He tutors it. If we already drew it, we can obviously use it to play the Moshi Truffle or even a Megascope. But his main purpose is to draw the Chapter of Wizards. This deck is quite consistent with Avalak and Natalis, and this deck needs the consistency to be effective. So having those 2 tutors, despite their high provision costs, is definitely not a bad deal. Anseis, again, pretty straightforward. The only thing of notice is that in this deck we will often use him without our ability. It means we will try to either use the buff from our Etusa student or through alumni, or even through the Moshi Truffle by previously setting them up. His Inspired will get activated and he will still be really good. So very flexible, very strong card. Sometimes we will use the ability, sometimes we will not, but he gives us the option to be very good even without using it, so that's pretty good. Gerhardt of Ale, you can forget about everything that's written on the text. We don't care about his patience. We will never use anything else than a 4 provision spell, but it might not be the one you're expecting. It's not Pact. We never use Pact in this deck because we have a much stronger option in Practice Makes Perfect. Gerhardt is a 3rd Practice Makes Perfect. Or rather, should I say a first one, because we should play it through him the first time, since his own patience will grow its value by 1. As I said, this card can play for 10, 11, 12, even 15 points. So coupled with Gerhard, that's like a 22 point slam. Insanely strong. Even if you can't stick him to play a more expensive spell, you don't need to. Honestly, you don't need to. Practice Makes Perfect is really good here. The only way you use another spell is if you're really struggling on tempo and have to use him in round 1. In this case, Pact is nice. Although Practice Makes Perfect could be good even in early rounds, honestly. Especially if one of your units got damaged or locked or something. So yeah, Gerhardt of Ale, Practice Makes Perfect on a stick. And it's really good. It's not like that doesn't make him worse, that makes him better. Like this Gerhardt is stronger than any other Gerhardt you will see. It's much more points than 7 plus 6. It's usually 7 plus like 10 or 7 plus 15. Chapter of Wizards, another one of my favorite cards from this new expansion. I love the flavor, I love the card by itself, I love the voice lines, and it's deceptively strong. I've seen many people in the reveal thread saying it sucked and it's too expensive and blah blah blah, but it's really good. You will see it in the games again, but it's a win condition and it's a very strong one. Rune Word is good. Like, let's take a look at all the bronze mages from the Northern Realms. Why is it only showing 4 provision? Yeah, there we go. So insanely good, bad, very good, bad, bad, very good, meh, especially if you play it in round 3, and bad. So yeah, there's a few bad options, but you get to create, so it means you get to pick 3 and give them shield. So you have a 1 in 3 chance to get an alumni, a 1 in 3 chance to get a spellweaver, pretty high chance to get one of the students and give them shield, which will often allow us to strengthen our alumni in later rounds if they didn't stick in earlier rounds. Sometimes obviously we low roll and we get something like this and this. It happens, it can happen, but our win condition is not the rune word. Our win condition is actually the order. Spawn a base copy of the last played allied bronze mage on this row. It also has resilience. So, for example, if the opponent tries to bleed us in round 2, we can just play Chapter of Wizard, use the rune word, get a good mage, and then just still have its main purpose for the next round without being sad about having used it, because its main purpose is to copy our alumni as many times as possible. Well, 2 times in this case at best. Once through its own order and once through doing Vehandra. And it's honestly really good. Like, if the alumni plays for 10, which is very realistic, it means that just through the order you get 10 points. Obviously, the alumni will not have zeal, even if you got the deploy, because you spawn it, you don't play it, so the deploy doesn't trigger. But that's why I said we need to manage our ability properly. But as you will see in the games, usually by round 3, the opponent cannot afford to remove our alumni that we spawn through the Chapter of Wizards. You will see it later. And last but not least, Amphibious Assault. What can I say about this card that hasn't been said? It's been carrying Northern Realms for a while now. I'm gonna say it, I think it's the best card in the game right now. All expansions, all factions included, I think it's the best card in the game. And yeah, that's about it. So here you have the deck. So when it comes to piloting, as I said, it's matchup dependent. It's dependent on what you exactly want to do, but the goal is to grow one or both of them big and then spam the alumni. You will see my thought process in the gameplay videos that follow, because I'm doing live commentary, so you will be seeing exactly what goes through my head when I play this game. But still, let me say a couple words about our different matchups. So let's start with the weaker factions. Monsters play sometimes the double Keltulis decks. It's a meme, it's a bad deck. It's especially bad against us because when they use Sabat, or I don't know the exact name of the card, the exact pronunciation, it usually raises Rafard's Vengeance, Selkirk, or something like that. Like it raises our already buffed Patience units. So usually the Sabat deck, the card that raises like 3 highest cards from the opponent's graveyard is usually better for us than for them. We usually don't struggle with removing both a defender and a Keltulis, and even if we can't remove Keltulis, like we can just sacrifice some fodder and use the alumni offensively. Like, I've never lost to this deck. I think this deck has pretty much no chance against us. I think it's a bad deck. Monster's in a bad place right now. They also play the Swarm deck, which is better than the Keltulis deck, but still pretty, not weak, but we outvalue it because It runs some removal, but not nearly enough to stop us getting big value from either Leticia or one of our students. So we just end up straight up outvaluing it, and it can't stop our game plan. And it can't compete for points either most of the time. Syndicate, the only Syndicate deck I've seen at fairly high MMR, like I'm talking 250 to 2.5k, I mean, has been, I've seen a couple of passive Flora decks, and those do not run removal, or at least not enough removal to hinder our plans enough. So we usually get one or two big students and they can't compete for value, especially if it's a Barnard student. Then we just nuke everything they play straight up. And yeah, they're not doing well. So as for the four other factions, Northern Realms is a difficult matchup, the Siege version. I think we're about even. Maybe they have a slight advantage, but I really enjoy playing my deck more than the Siege version. I think it's much more fun. I think there are more decision involved, and it's less matchup dependent. Like it can win against most meta decks, while Siege can struggle against some. I'm not saying it's better, but I'm definitely saying it's more fun for me. So yeah. And as far as matchups go, we just textbook moves. We try to stick preferably a Bernard and just do the stuff that I've been describing so far. Nothing in particular to keep in mind against Northern Realms. I'd say we're about even, maybe slightly unfavored, but not by much. The matchup where we are highly unfavored is Nilfgaard. Nilfgaard is really good against this deck. It's our worst matchup for one simple reason. Even though they usually can't remove both of our students, they can copy them. They can resurrect one of them. Especially if it's a Barnard, it's tough for us because that means we need to remove another one, or he gets a free removal. And even if it's the Aretusa student, the problem is that later he can copy our alumni and get the full value as well. Like if our patience is at, I don't know, 7 and he resurrects this unit, when he copies an alumni, his order will also be at 7, and we simply won't have enough removal to deal with every copy. It's winnable, it's not unwinnable. I've beaten Nilfgaard a couple times, but it's a difficult matchup. It's really not easy because, as I said, they copy our cards and beat us with them, while also having a stimulate and double lock. But it's winnable. It's not like, when I'm saying unfavored, it's not like 80% loss. I say it's something like 60% loss, maybe 65. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah. Skellige is my least favorite matchup. I absolutely hate it. Not because it's good, actually. Not because it's bad, I mean. Actually, I think we have a very positive win rate against Skellige. I usually beat them. Much better win rate than against Nilfgaard, that's for sure. But I just really hate playing against control decks. I think control is anti-fun in Gwent. Since Gwent is a reactive game, it's automatically easier and more like comfortable to play control. Obviously not hating on anyone who plays control, that's not my point. I'm just saying that I'm not enjoying my games against heavy control decks. But well, it is what it is. Against Skellige, there are two scenarios. Scenario 1, we stick one of the students and get him to grow big. It's better if it's the Aretusa student, in which case we fight for points in round 3. He removes some, he can't remove all of them. Like, it can go both ways, but usually it goes in our favor if we could set up the Aretusa student. And scenario 2, which I will showcase in a video, Skellige removes everything we play in round 1. Like, we can't stick anything. But by doing that, usually it means they overcommit their removal pretty highly. Like, they commit lots of removals, they commit their Reckless Flurry or stuff like that. And what that means is that in round 3 we can go very greedy and have some big setups. Like set up either a Leticia in round 3, usually not Leticia, but like you maybe set up one of the students, have them grow big, then finish with the alumni after we grew them through the students, maybe give a huge buff to Anseis or Seltkirk through, again, one of our students. Like, there are ways to win it, even if we can't stick anything in round 1. We can go greedier in round 3 if they overcommit on their removal. And who's left? Skoyatel, right? The deck that is currently played by ST is the Symbiosis deck, the Nature deck. There are two versions of it. The Devotion one can't remove Leticia. They don't run Luck and they don't run Heatwave. Nature's Rebuke is not good enough. The only way they can deal with Leticia is if they stick a double Sana elf and then discover a bomb and have her remove her row. So the key in this matchup is to remove the elves. You just remove the double Sana elves. Not easy to do, I know, especially if they play and discovers them through the new 6 provision card, forgot its name. If they play 2 at a turn and they happen to find 2 double Sana sorcerers, it's really bad for us. But other than that, we can usually stick Leticia, have her grow really big, and then compete for points in a third round, especially if we can grow Bernard big. As for the non-devotion unit, they will remove Leticia, but their ceiling will be much lower than the devotion versions, and we can usually outgrid them in later rounds. So that's about it. Here's the deck, and now I will showcase a few games that I thought were interesting. I might showcase a few in this video, and I will probably upload a separate video as well with more games. Thanks for listening, guys, and enjoy the live commentary. Okay, so we have a game against Skellige. Skellige is a matchup I really do not enjoy playing. Not necessarily because it's a bad matchup, we can really win it, but it's extremely unpleasant for me to play against it. Like, mega control decks are not really fun to play against to me. Our game goal is to grow our Tuda student as big as we can here. But since he will instantly be removing her, we will need to play our baits first here. Anyways, we toss the alumni. Natalis is good. And yeah, let's see what he does. We probably open with the Moshi Truffle because we want to bait removal and also have the option to play Golden Frost at some point to make his life a bit harder. So yeah, his tempo doesn't really matter to us. Like, we don't really care about winning this round. We care about sticking the students. Okay, let's start with the truffle, as I said. That's what he also did. Does the roll matter? It could matter if we end up playing Rafard's Vengeance from Natalis, but I don't think we're playing Rafard's Vengeance here. We're probably playing the second student, since I have very little hopes for her, or for Leticia for that matter. Like, probably he removes this, he removes this, he removes Leticia, and from this point onward, we'll see, maybe he can't remove anymore. Okay, that's bad. That's bad because he gets to remove his target without using any actual removal, and also forces us to use a turn to play removal. So yeah, that sucks. We hate to see it here. We have to remove her, because if we play another engine and he plays Birna Bran, there's 2 engines he can remove without using actual removal, so that's really bad. Okay, so far I'm not very happy with how this game is going. Yeah, because we already played 2 cards and we haven't even started growing the student. So next turn I think it's Natalis into Amphibious Assault, into, if I'm greedy, into Barnard student, and if I'm less greedy, into Arituda student. And I think I'm going for the less greedy option. I'm expecting this one to stick, or at least I'm hoping for this one to stick. Next turn is Leticia into maybe Golden Frost, even though we won't get full value. I'm not sure. Yeah, probably we play Golden Frost, depending on what he does with this student. If he removes hers, then yeah, probably we don't play Golden Frost. We'll see. Let's see what he does here. What are his options to remove the student? Realistically, it's like Heathwave, right? What else? Yeah, we don't give a fuck about Xavier. Oh, actually we do. He removed Amphibious Assault. Never mind. It's kind of bad, but it's not like... It's not a disaster. It's just bad. Oh, I forgot to play the Golden Frost. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, other than the Amphibious Assault, as I explained, we really don't care if he removes the students once they're in the graveyard, because we're not playing Shani, and even if he does remove them, the value still carries over to the alumni. Like they still get, even if you steal, you banish, you do whatever with the student, this value is never going down. Like boost an LED unit by 2, no matter what he does with our student, this value will never go down. As far as I know, at least. I have yet to see a scenario in which... Okay, is Leticia sticking? Does this mean she's sticking? She might, actually, honestly. He's going for tempo plays here, so I'm expecting a pass next turn from him. Maybe. Let's do it like this. Like this. And I'm gonna trigger Leticia next turn. If he passes, what do we play? If he passes, we probably have to active... Okay, he doesn't pass. Purification. Alright. I'm fairly happy with this result. Maybe I should have been greedy and played the Barnard, actually. Maybe I should have played the Barnard, but oh yeah, it's fine. This is fine. We might lose card advantage here. Oh, how big are 10? No, we're not even losing card advantage, I think. Yeah, no. That's a pretty good outcome, I'd say, all in all. There was something I wasn't happy with. What was that? Oh yeah, we got Amphibious Assault burn. Other than that, it's a really good outcome. I think committing the Heat Wave here is a bad play. Maybe he doesn't know that the values will still carry over, because like I said, look, he banished our 6 patients to the student, but our alumni is still at 6 power. Here we pass. We're honestly happy with the outcome of this round, except for the Amphibious Assault getting burned. We're happy. And like our last cards were not amazing for round 1. We have to toss back the winch. I keep calling it a wench. Yeah, this hand is not amazing. We would... Okay, that's really good. That basically allows us to play Chapter of Mages, but we probably need to toss the Megascope back, so he doesn't break in case we draw the chapter, and probably it's still the one we want to toss. Okay, see? Yeah, we draw the Chapter of Mages, so if we hadn't mulliganed the Megascope, Avalak would be bricked. I'm not expecting him to dry pass here. Usually he will try... Oh, he did dry pass. I'm happy with this. A long round against Skellige is what I'm looking for. We just drop this one, we don't care, it grows, practice makes perfect. The card we really want to draw is Gerhardt here. Gerhardt or Rafard's Vengeance, like one of the two, it's really important for us to draw. Yeah, we draw neither, that's bad. Okay, we drew Gerhardt, that's nice. If we keep mulliganing, Avalak could break. What do we have here? This one, if I'm mulliganing the Barnard, so this one is the same, this one is much better, this one is worse, this one is better, much worse, like brick. I'd say we... the greedy line is to not mulligan him. I mean, the greedy line is to mulligan him, so let's go for the greedy line. Okay, we got rewarded. We got rewarded. Okay, we play the chapter of wizards on the range draw because yeah, that's where we want to spawn our alumni. What do we find here? Heritage Assistant is okay. Not amazing, but okay. She should be annoying for him to remove on the range draw. Also, it's good because we can play Rafard's Vengeance into alumni. Thing is, before I play Rafard's Vengeance, I would like to pull the Megascope so we don't draw it. So I'm not going to Rafard's Vengeance yet. I'm going to play my alumni. Usually I would be like, oh, he can't remove both, but since he still has his full hero power, he might be able to, so I'm gonna zeal one. Something like that. Now it's annoying for him to deal with it. What he could do is Hjalmar into hero power to remove this. Heatwave is gone. By the way, I think committing the Giga Scorpion detection on the poor girl was not necessarily an amazing play. What else? Another issue we have here is we're gonna have role space issues because Avalak is getting played here. Megascope is getting played here. Yeah, that's what I said. He has to commit double hero power. That's fine. Also, weakening this is good because now we just do. Oh no, let's do it later. We can always do it later. Our priority is to play Rafard's Vengeance here. So we pull out the Megascope so Avalak doesn't Rick. And next turn we go for Alumni. No, I mean Rafard's Vengeance. Rafard's Vengeance into either Divim Veandra or, yeah, into Divim Veandra. I think that's the only option here. And again, it's annoying because she's also row locked to range. So we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oof, yeah, but like considering we're playing against Skellige, we can expect him to remove some of our stuff. Yeah, okay. That means we also do not have any more Zeal. Do we ever play this without Zeal? No. That's just... It's not about why, it's about why not. Bernard, not a great draw here. What else could we have drawn? We don't have any great draws. Like, Practice Makes Perfect would be really good. Casting Contest would be good. Winch would be okay. Those... It was a 50-50. We low rolled, but I don't think it matters too much. Yeah, as I said, he's removing our stuff, as expected. Okay, let's go for Gerhardt here, I think. No, let's go for Bernard first. Next turn we do Gerhardt, and we have a 50% chance to pull the alumni back. And even if we fail to pull it back, we have a second one. So, but yeah, him removing Amphibious Assault means it would be really nice if we can pull alumni through Gerhardt or through Practice Makes Perfect. Things aren't looking bad right now, honestly. Like, he can't contest all these points with his Skellige tempo. He's a control deck and there's just too much stuff for him to remove. Yeah, like, this doesn't do anything at all. Like, yeah. I think that's a bad play from him. I don't know, maybe he doesn't have anything better to do, but, like, trust me, there will be much better units for him to, like, see. If he resets this one, it's like 9 power. Here he just reset it for 2 power. Also, we didn't draw. So yeah, let's play alumni number 2. Let's spawn it, and next turn we Practice Makes Perfect to Inviandra. Also, we have a nice setup for Unsays, if at least one of those guys sticks. Yeah, I think things are looking fairly good right now. Well, he got lucky, it means he can remove either one of the 3 with the Bear Witcher, which is probably what he's going for, but it's fine. fine. Actually, I don't know why I was saying that we need to shuffle Doing Vandra. We will just shuffle our alumni. Oh, actually, we do not have Zeal, so we will shuffle Doing Vandra. That was a misplay. I think we're so far ahead that it doesn't matter, but I should have played Practice Makes Perfect yet in case we got a unit with Order. So now I'm forced to shuffle the Invandra to get like instant value from this. Okay, it's fine. I think we're good here.
Magic is a curse, a blessing.
That triggers Rafard. Oh, of course it hits only unit with shield. Oh well. You know what? You want to? That's fine. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back from that. So yeah, as you can see, Skellige is not a bad matchup. It's an annoying one to play. Like, I hate playing against Skellige, but I have a very positive win rate against them, I'd say. So yeah, play your last pathetic card. Yeah, like it's not close. It's not close. We navigated this one pretty well, I think. Also, Leticia stuck in round 1, which was a huge... Oh no, did she? I don't remember actually. Did she stuck? Anyways, yeah, we got a student to grow to 6, so that was good enough to win. Yeah, so GG. Okay, that's an interesting matchup. It's a difficult one to pilot. Okay, so the key here... Oh, going second is bad here, because we're not going to out-tempo him. Here our win condition is to stick Bernard. Actually, against this deck we should usually try to stick Leticia. He doesn't have the removal to remove her. But we didn't draw her, which is really bad. We didn't draw her, we didn't draw Natalis, we didn't draw Amphibious Assault or Rafard's Vengeance. All in all, that's not a great hand at all. We have Saltkirk, which is nice. Yeah. In this matchup we need to like go greedy, so yeah, I guess we just have to remove this for tempo. Not drawing Leticia in this matchup is really bad, because outvaluing it is him is tough, and we really want to go as greedy as possible to outvalue him. Also, to remove 6 is really hard for him, but to remove 4 is not. He just uses Nature's Rebuke. Yeah, see? Like, he can't remove Leticia easily, but he can remove the lads. I'm expecting a second one here. Maybe he plays the Tree Bro. He locks. Huh. So that's a non-devotion version. It means he might run Heatwave. Actually, it probably means he runs Heatwave. Let's just heal this. We might shuffle her back with Gerhardt. That's usually a play I keep for later. Oh, he Heatwaves this. Wow. We need something good here. That's okay. Not great, but okay. Oh. Yeah, we could not stick our units. That means we probably can't go long round against him. Which I hate, because this deck wants to go long round. But yeah. Yeah, I guess we will have to bleed him in round 2 or something. Our alumni are dead in the water right now. Just like toss this one out. Yeah, we have to play round 2, especially since we're in the scenario where we won with carryover. I guess we play the chapter of Wizards and hopefully we get a Bernard student. We have to toss those back, as much as I hate to toss them back. Pelor, you're late! He actually played the lock, but you're late, mate. Oh, Rafard's Vengeance is nice. We play this into Rafard's Vengeance into Dream Vendra. On which road do we play? I'd say here. Okay, we found Bernard. That's nice. Probably not easy to remove it for him from this point onwards. We spawn it, then because we have to play Doom Vandra, so. Okay, what is he doing here? Yeah. Oh, that combo is so strong. And he found the Whisper, which is bad.
The soil is fertile.
Please don't touch my shield. Okay, he didn't touch my shield. Alright, let's just refart. We might lose card advantage here, but if we can grow the Bernard to decent heights, it's worth it. Also, we might stick. Yeah, I guess we might just use the ability to stick a bunch of meditating mages. I'm not aware of the version of the deck he's playing. I haven't seen this one yet. Philavanderal, Log, Heatwave. Yeah, I haven't seen this version yet.
There is no place more beautiful.
I would really have liked to have practice makes perfect here. Do we just spawn it with this? No, I think we will need the value next round. I can't just spawn it here because I think we're like forfeiting this round. Yeah, he even removes it. What do we do here? Yeah, not much to do here, honestly. Yeah, not much to do here. Not looking great, my friends. Not looking great. Especially since we do not have toll removal in this deck. Our only toll removal is like a 2-turn setup with a big buff and unsafe, but we do not even have a big buff. Oh, and he's bricked. Yeah, you're 2 rounds late, Leticia. What do we even do here? What do we have in the deck? We want those. We want those. And Natalis is bricked, but we like have to take a chance. No, not much choice here. Yeah. Yeah, this sucks. We don't care about Xavier. Well, we care in the sense that he does have 10 points, which is a lot. We will try to give. Yeah, I think if we have any hope of winning this game, it's through Leticia into a big student to a really big Ensace. That's our only hope of winning this game. Otherwise, he can get too much. The thing is that with the non-devotion version, the deck does get less value. Oh, what do we do here? I think we zeal an alumni and remove it. Why did I play it through Amphibious Assault? I don't know is the answer to this. Might not have been the right play. Oh yeah, because I wanted to give this one Zeal, but it doesn't make sense because the one from the deck also gets Zeal. Yeah, we don't care about Xavier. He can remove whatever he wants from our graveyard. The only card we care if he removes is Amphibious Assault, which he is already too late to remove. I think we have to go greedy here. He used both rebukes, right? He used the 3 into oh, he didn't use both rebukes. He might still have one. But if he has one, it doesn't matter if we use Leticia or not. She just gets removed next turn. It only matters for Zeal on him. Okay. As I mentioned, we go super greedy and assume he doesn't have any more removal. So we do it like this. And yeah, now we pray. What could he even have for removal at this point? He used locked, he used heat wave, he used both rebukes. He might have one more rebuke, but it's not good enough. And I assume his last card is Hard Gold, or whatever his name is. Rebuke? No. Circle of Life. Circle of Life is fine here. Yeah, so we go like this. We go like this. Do we overbuff it? No. The question is, do we remove Xavier or do we remove Hamadryad? We can remove Xavier because his last card is very likely a unit. It's going to be close. His Harald Gord is probably big enough. No, he's not. GG. GG. Yeah, as you see, interesting matchup, and also we're officially 2.5k now, I think. So very, very nice. I hope so, at least. I hope I guessed at least 6 points here. Nice. 2.501. Very nice.